Do you know that in 2026, the CPF contribution rate will change for higher income people, gig workers, and older workers? And you can use more of your MediSave. Here are 8 important CPF changes that will start from 2026, and you really must watch this to the end because at least 3 of them will affect you. So, for a start, if you are a gig worker like a food delivery rider and you are relatively young, you will be contributing more CPF. In case you did not know, since 2025, some gig workers will have to contribute CPF, kind of like how employed individuals contribute CPF. It's compulsory for gig workers born on or after 1st January 1995 and optional for gig workers born before that. This has kicked in since 2025, but it will not start with the usual 20% deduction from employee and 17% from employer lah. Instead, you'll increase progressively until 2029. As for the percentage, it depends on how old you are and how much you earn. For example, in 2025, if you are 51 years old and earn over $750 a month, you will have contributed 13% of your earnings to your CPF account, while the platform you work for will have contributed 3.5%. From 2026, it will increase. If you are 51 years old and earn over $750 a month, you will need to contribute 15.5% of your earning, while the platform will contribute 7%. This will increase again in 2027, all the way to 2029, whereby the contribution will be like the current system for employed individuals of 20% from employees and 17% from employers. I have left a link on the contribution rate in the description, so check it out as it's different across different age groups. Now that we have spoken about the youngsters, let's go all the way to the seniors. Many of us think of CPF as the 20% and 17% thingy, but it's different for senior workers. The 20% and 17% are for workers who are 55 and younger. From 55 onwards, it will be different, whereby their CPF contribution will decrease. For example, currently, people who are above 55 to 60 will contribute 17% of their pay, while their employer will contribute 15.5%. It gets lower every 5 years until the worker is above 70 years old, whereby he will contribute just 5% of his pay, while his employer contributes 7.5%. Yeah, interesting because the amount the employer contributes will start to get higher than the employee contribution. Come 2026, there will be a change for workers above 55 years old to 65 years old. The employer has to contribute 0.5% more, while the employee has to contribute 1% more. All additional will be fully allocated to the retirement account up to the full retirement sum. Once the full retirement sum is met, excess contribution flow to the OA. And if you're confused over what the heck is retirement sum, don't worry. I'll explain that as well, because there's going to be a change there too. I know to you, CPF is just money that you can see but cannot touch. But what happens when you can finally touch it? You don't just withdraw all out lah. If not, some woman in some siamtiu will be super happy. Instead, you'll receive a money payout, which is quite cheap, so let me slowly explain. Let's say you are 55 years old and you have $1 million in your CPF account. How it works is simple. A certain mandatory amount from the $1 million is set aside when you are 55 years old, so you can get money payout from 65 years old. As for the extra, you can withdraw at 55 years old. That certain mandatory amount is known as the retirement sum. The higher it is, the more you receive in the money payout. So, currently, the basic retirement sum is $106,500. With that, you receive about $860 to $930 from age 65. The higher tier is called the full retirement sum, which is $213,000. With that, you receive about $1,610 to $1,730. And the highest tier is called the enhanced retirement sum, which is at $426,000. With that, you receive about $3,100 to $3,330. So, for example, if you have got $1 million in your CPF at 55 years old, which also means you can be BFF with Mr. Lu lah, $426,000 will be set aside for the money payout from 65 years old. This means you can technically withdraw $574,000 if you so desire. Now, this is a bit cheap, so if you don't understand, go ask ChatGPT lah. I'm only 14 years old, I also don't know. Yeah, I suggest asking ChatGPT because reading it online is pretty hard to understand. So, what changes from 2026? Simple lah. All the retirement sums will increase. The basic retirement sum will increase to $110,200. The full retirement sum will increase to $220,400. And the enhanced retirement sum will increase to $440,800. Anyways, this isn't surprising, as retirement sums increase every year.
Like that, this is not new lah.
Well, the rates change, so it's considered new lah.
But as I do a video of what are the changes in Singapore in 2026, and one of them is that Singapore will be 61 years old in 2026 instead of 60 years old in 2025.
No lah, different lah. 2026 no actually 60 vouchers. Okay, if that isn't new to you, then here's something that's new. There's going to be a new match retirement savings scheme. In case you did not know, Akong is giving you free money if you top up your CPF retirement account. If you are 55 years and above and voluntarily top up money into a CPF retirement account, the government will match the money you top up to $2,000 a year and a lifetime cap of $20,000. But of course, it's for eligible seniors lah, like having a retirement account of less than $106,500, earning less than $4,000 a month and whatnot. If not, this will chip up where Singapore finance YouTuber will do dozens of videos telling you how to earn more money with this finance hack. So you can see that it's for lower income seniors who have lower retirement savings. So what's the change in 2026? From 1st January 2026, this will be extended to any individuals with disabilities, even if they are below 55 years old. For that, if the person is below 55 years old, they will receive the matching grant on cash top-ups to their CPF special account instead of the retirement account. Anyways, this isn't the only dollar for dollar scheme that the government has. If you are looking to advertise your business in this channel, we can help you. There are guaranteed views and many big brands have trusted us. Just click on the link in the description. From 2026, there is a new dollar for dollar scheme and it's not for retirement. Instead, it's for MediSave. It works quite similar to the matched retirement savings scheme, just that instead of retirement account, it's for the MediSave account. And as usual, it's for eligible individuals, whereby the person has to be between 55 to 70 years old, with less than 50% of the prevailing basic healthcare sum, have a monthly income of below $4,000 and whatnot lah. This will be implemented for 5 years, and there's a cap of $1,000 a year. Now, you will have noticed that I said something earlier, basic healthcare sum. So, what the heck is that? Glad that you asked, because there's going to be a change there too. You see, our MediSave account is a separate account used solely for healthcare expenses. And also dentists who are always asking us to remove our wisdom teeth because can use MediSave. Dr. Tang, last warning, I already told you I have removed all my wisdom teeth. What do you mean by implanting wisdom teeth then removing them? Yeah, you get the idea. But if you have never met Dr. Tang from Tangamau Dental Surgery and seldom use your MediSave might accumulate so much that you'll give any dentist wet dreams. So there's something known as the basic healthcare sum. Once you hit that amount, any extra will go to your other accounts, depending on how old you are. But the whole idea is to have this basic amount in your MediSave for your old age. So this basic amount is currently $75,500. But from 2026, it will be at $79,000. This kind of change every year too, like the retirement sum. Now, why will our MediSave change? Because we can actually use them even now, and how we can use them will change from 2026. If you're lucky enough not to have any health issue, you might not know how useful MediSave is. You see, MediSave can be used in several ways. For example, you can use it to pay for healthcare insurance like MediShield Life and CareShield Life. You can also use them in case you need any hospitalization or surgery. Anyways, this includes dental surgery, which is why Dr. Tang from Tangamau Dental Surgery always say I've got 7 wisdom teeth. Walao bodo cannot be what he thinking is 7 wisdom tooth. Walao lie also lie better lah. Walao I know wisdom how to have wisdom tooth. In addition, what you might not know is that you can also use them for outpatient care and chronic disease management, like say management of diabetes or high blood pressure through visits to clinics, or even use them for certain vaccines. There are usually of course limits to how much we can use. From 2026, there will be a change. The MediSave annual withdrawal limit for outpatient scans will double from $300 to $600. There will be some changes in restorative dental procedures as well. But let's just say that it still won't affect Dr. Tang from Tangamau Dental Surgery. What's interesting is that from June 2026, MediShield Life coverage and the use of MediSave will be extended to cover the surgical cost of embryo freezing, egg freezing, and ovarian tissue freezing. The use of MediSave will also be extended to cover the pre- and post-procedure costs of embryo freezing and ovarian tissue freezing. I have left a link in the description for all the changes. Now, the last point is for your boss. This only affects people who has a high monthly salary. What you might not know is that before September 2023, if you earn over $6,000 a month, there will be no CPF contribution for any amount above the $6,000 range. Yes, there's actually a cap to the amount of CPF contribution we make, known as the CPF monthly salary ceiling. So, for example, in 2022, if you earn $10,000 a month, you did not contribute 20% of $10,000 to your CPF account. Instead, you only contributed 20% of $6,000. Similarly, your employer will just contribute 17% of $6,000 even if you earn $10,000. Usually, only higher income people or people in HR will know about this, since to most of us, our pay is less than $6,000, so we contribute 20% of our full salary. So what's going to happen is that this will increase to $8,000 from 1st January 2026, and it's not a sudden increase. This is a progressive increase since 2023. This was announced during budget 2023, and from 1st September 2023, it has since increased to $6,300. From 1st January 2024, it has increased to $6,800, and from 1st January 2025, it has increased to $7,400. This $8,000 threshold is the last increase as of what was announced. Now, here's the thing, I know some changes mentioned here might not affect you, but I'm sure you now know about the various CPF schemes available. Because with so many CPF schemes, I won't be surprised that NUS will soon offer a Bachelor of Science in CPF Administration. To know more about the 10 other changes in Singapore that will affect you from 2026, watch this. Also, follow me on Instagram if you have not done so, as we publish exclusive short videos there. Link in description. And if you want to advertise with us, even as a standalone video, do contact us. Thank you for spending almost 10 minutes with me. I really appreciate it and hope you learned something.